Gemini. Avoid this color for April 22nd, 23rd, and 25th, or you'll lose your money and power in 2026. Gemini, before you scroll away, pause for one sacred moment, because this message may be far more important than it first appears. There are certain days that do not arrive with noise, but with a whisper, and April 22nd, 23rd, and 25th carry that kind of whisper for you. On the outside, they may look like ordinary days, but in the unseen realm, they hold a quiet test of discernment, energy, and spiritual alignment. And strangely, the test begins with something so simple that most people would ignore it: a color. Not because a color has power over your destiny, but because what you choose to wear can reveal what spirit you are agreeing with, what emotion you are feeding, and what atmosphere you are allowing to wrap around your mind, your money, and your future. Gemini, hear me carefully, because this is not superstition, and this is not fear. This is a warning wrapped in grace. This is heaven tapping gently on the door of your attention before a small choice becomes a costly pattern. There is one color that could pull you into the wrong frequency on these dates. A frequency of confusion, impulse, ego, distraction, and hidden loss. And if you step into it carelessly, you may begin weakening the very flow of favor power and financial increase that God is trying to establish for your 2026 season. I need you to understand this deeply. The danger is not in the color itself, but in what that color may awaken in you during this fragile spiritual window. It may stir restlessness where you need peace. It may amplify pride where you need humility. It may ignite emotional spending where you need wisdom. It may tempt you to perform strength while your soul is quietly begging for stillness, healing, and direction. And Gemini. When a person is on the edge of blessing, the smallest acts begin to matter more, because little choices often reveal whether you are moving with divine order or drifting back toward inner chaos. That is why you found this message now. That is why your spirit felt drawn here. Not by accident, but by mercy, and your next season may depend on your response. In the language of faith, this is a call to watch and pray. In the language of the soul, this is a call to awaken. In the language of wisdom, this is a reminder that abundance does not only enter through opportunity, but through alignment. Some doors of wealth do not open by force. They open when your heart, your thoughts, your actions, and even your outward signals begin to match the peace of the blessing prepared for you. So do not treat these coming days lightly. The wrong energy can make you speak too fast. Trust the wrong person, react from wounded pride, spend from inner emptiness, or overlook the quiet instruction that could protect your next level. But the right awareness can preserve your grace, sharpen your discernment, and keep your path clean for the favor that is still forming behind the scenes. Gemini. This message is not here to frighten you. It is here to cover you. It is here to remind you that God does not warn His chosen ones to punish them. He warns them because their future matters. He warns them because their blessing is near. He warns them because what is coming for them is too precious to be sabotaged by unconscious living. So as you listen, stay with me until the end, because in the next part you will understand why this color matters now, what it represents in your inner life, and how to protect your money, your peace, and your power before 2026 arrives. And while this message is still fresh on your heart type, these words in the comments: I walk in wisdom, favor, and abundance. Let that be your agreement with heaven. Like this video if you are ready to guard your future. Subscribe if you know God has been trying to get your attention. Share this with another Gemini or someone you love, because sometimes one warning received in time becomes the very reason a blessing survives. Now, let us go deeper. Gemini, because the warning only makes sense when you understand what is truly happening beneath the surface of these dates. April 22nd, 23rd, and 25th are not dangerous, because the sky is trying to curse you, and they are not important, because fate has trapped you in some cruel design. No, this moment is more subtle, more spiritual, and more revealing than that. What is happening now is that your inner world is being mirrored back to you. The energy around you is exposing where you are still divided within yourself, where one part of you longs for peace, wisdom, and holy increase, while another part still reacts from anxiety, vanity, wounded pride, or the fear of losing control. This is why the symbol of color matters right now. A color is never just a color in a season like this. It can become a reflection of agreement. It can echo the mood you are feeding, the identity you are wearing, and the frequency you are unconsciously choosing to embody. Gemini, these days are showing you the difference between appearance and alignment. You may look composed and still be spiritually restless. You may appear strong and still be making decisions from fear. You may tell yourself that you are ready for greater money, greater influence, and greater open doors in 2026. But heaven is gently asking a deeper question. Are you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually stable enough to carry what you are praying for? This is where both faith and wisdom must meet. In the Christian sense, this is a season of discernment where God is not merely blessing your hands, but refining your heart. Because prosperity without peace becomes pressure, and influence without humility becomes a burden. In the Buddhist sense, this is also a sacred invitation to notice the movements of the mind, to see how quickly attachment, restlessness, comparison, and inner agitation can distort the path ahead. When the mind is clouded, even good opportunities can be mishandled. When the heart is unsettled, even abundance can leak away. So the issue is not that a certain color will magically steal your future. The issue is that during a sensitive spiritual threshold, certain outer choices can activate inner states that are already fragile. That color may stir impatience when patience is needed. It may awaken performance when authenticity is required. It may feed a desire to be seen when your soul actually needs silence, prayer, and grounding. It may magnify the version of you that spends to impress, speaks to defend, moves to escape discomfort, or chooses image over substance. And Gemini, that is how power quietly weakens. Not through one dramatic collapse, but through repeated agreements with the wrong inner posture. This is why this message is holy, not superstitious. It is not asking you to fear the world. It is teaching you to watch your agreement with it. Because what you wear on your body can sometimes reveal what you are dressing your spirit in. Chaos or clarity, ego or grace, hunger or peace, striving or trust. And right now, trust is everything. Your next season does not need louder effort. It needs clearer alignment. God's favor flows best where there is peace to receive it. Divine increase rests more safely in the life of someone who no longer confuses urgency with wisdom. And that is why you are being asked to pay attention now. These dates are exposing patterns before they become losses. They are revealing vulnerabilities before they become consequences. They are offering you mercy before they become regret. So do not dismiss this as small. Sometimes the soul is tested in symbols before it is trusted with substance. Stay close, because what comes next will uncover the central truth behind this entire warning. and show you why your money, your authority, and your 2026 blessing will be protected not by fear, but by the state of spirit you choose today. And as this understanding settles into your heart, type in the comments, I choose peace, discernment, and divine increase. Let that sentence become your seed of alignment. Like this video if you are ready to walk in wisdom. Subscribe if you know your next season must be guarded with faith. Share this with someone who needs to protect not only their image, but their future. And now, Gemini. We arrive at the central truth, the part of this message your spirit was meant to hear, because everything has been leading to this moment. You do not lose money, influence, or power in 2026 because a color suddenly becomes stronger than your destiny. You lose those things when you slip into the wrong inner agreement, when fear dresses itself as confidence, when ego disguises itself as strength, and when your spirit starts moving out of alignment with the wisdom, peace, and favor that heaven has been trying to build inside you. That is why these days matter. That is why the warning matters. And that is why the colors matter. They are not controlling you. They are revealing you. They are exposing which version of yourself you are feeding, and on April 22nd, 23rd, and 25th, that distinction becomes more important than usual. So listen closely, Gemini, because there are 3 colors you need to avoid on these dates if you want to protect your clarity, your financial grace, and the authority that is meant to grow in your life. The first is bright red, especially harsh red, the kind that stirs urgency, pride, heat, and impulsive reaction. For you in this window, bright red does not symbolize holy courage. It can awaken emotional speed where you need restraint. It can push you to act before praying, speak before discerning, buy before thinking, and defend yourself before understanding what God is trying to show you. Bright red can pull Gemini into performance, into the need to prove, the need to win, the need to respond too fast, and that is dangerous when your future blessing requires composure. The second color to avoid is dark green, especially moss green or deep green. Normally, green can symbolize growth, but in this spiritual atmosphere, this darker form can stir comparison, insecurity, and subtle greed. It can make you focus too much on what others have, what others are gaining, what others seem to be becoming, and that comparison can poison gratitude. Once gratitude weakens, wisdom begins to leak. When wisdom leaks, money follows. Dark green in this moment can reflect grasping instead of trusting, striving instead of receiving. And Gemini, what is meant for you in 2026 will not come through anxious reaching. It will come through peaceful alignment, faithful timing, and mature stewardship. The third color you need to avoid is pure black, especially all black clothing worn from a place of emotional heaviness, withdrawal, or confusion. Black is not evil, but during this threshold, pure black can deepen isolation, spiritual fatigue, and the temptation to hide what needs healing. It can reinforce the part of you that says, I will carry this alone. I will close off. I will stay guarded. I will trust no one. I will numb what I feel. But Gemini, that posture may protect your image while silently draining your favor. You were not called into 2026 to live armored in exhaustion. You were called to walk in light, humility, and grace. So understand the truth beneath the warning. With care, now bright red can amplify impulse. Dark green can awaken comparison, and pure black can deepen heaviness. These are the colors to avoid, not because they are cursed, but because they can symbolize and intensify the exact inner states that weaken your money, your peace, and your authority during this sensitive season. And here is the deeper truth, the one most people never learn until after they suffer loss. Heaven often prepares a person for abundance by first teaching them how to stop cooperating with the energies that sabotage it. This is why your power has felt delayed at times. This is why certain doors opened and then suddenly stalled. This is why you have had moments of momentum followed by strange inner confusion. It was never just about circumstances. It was also about readiness. God is not only trying to give you more, He is trying to shape you into someone who can hold more without being ruled by impulse comparison, pride, or hidden despair. And from the wisdom of Buddhist truth, this is also a lesson in watching the mind, because suffering grows where attachment and agitation are left unexamined. If your mind becomes scattered, your choices become scattered. If your emotions become reactive, your finances become vulnerable. If your spirit loses stillness, your authority loses weight. So these dates are not here to shame you. They are here to wake you. They are here to train you to recognize that the smallest agreement matters when you are being prepared for a larger calling. Gemini, you are not being asked to fear these colors. You are being asked to discern what they awaken in you. Choose peace over pressure. Choose softness over spectacle. Choose wisdom over urgency. Choose the kind of presence that tells heaven, I am ready to carry what you are sending me. And if this message is confirming something deep in your spirit, comment now. I reject confusion, and I receive wisdom, favor, and abundance. Like this video if you are choosing alignment over impulse. Subscribe if you believe your 2026 blessing must be protected before it arrives. And share this with someone you love, because one holy act of awareness today may be the very thing that preserves your money, your dignity, and your God-given power tomorrow. So now, Gemini, do not let this message remain only in your mind. Let it move into your spirit, into your breath, into your hands, into the choices that will guard your future. Because a warning becomes a blessing only when it is answered with awareness. This is the moment to turn insight into alignment. This is the moment to stop merely listening and begin agreeing with the peace, wisdom, and abundance that heaven has been trying to place upon your life. I want you to slow down right here, even if only for a few seconds, and receive this as more than a video. Receive it as a sacred pause. Gently breathe in, and as you breathe in, imagine the noise leaving your mind. Breathe out, and let the weight of fear begin to fall from your shoulders. Breathe in again, and let your heart remember that you were not created for confusion, lack, and constant inner pressure. Breathe out and release every quiet agreement you have made with panic, comparison, delay, and self-sabotage. Gemini, this is your moment to come back to yourself. But even more than that, this is your moment to come back to God, to grace, to the stillness where true direction is heard. In the Christian spirit, let this be your prayer without shame. Lord, cover my mind, purify my motives, protect my finances, and prepare me to carry the blessings you are sending into my life. In the Buddhist spirit, let this be your inward vow. May my mind be clear, may my heart be steady, may my choices be mindful, and may I walk in peace rather than illusion. Do you feel the shift? That is what happens when you stop feeding fear and begin feeding faith. That is what happens when you stop reacting to life and begin aligning with truth. And now, Gemini. I want you to make this personal. Place your hand over your heart for one brief moment and say within yourself, I do not welcome confusion into my spirit. I do not dress myself in fear. I do not hand my future to restless energy. I choose peace. I choose wisdom. I choose holy favor. I choose the kind of abundance that stays, because not every blessing is protected by effort alone. Some blessings are protected by what you agree with in secret, by the thoughts you rehearse, by the emotional atmosphere you permit, by the spiritual posture you carry before anyone ever sees the result. This is why your response today matters so much. Heaven is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be conscious. It is asking you to be willing. It is asking you to stop cooperating with the energy that drains your strength, scatters your focus, and weakens the very favor meant to carry you into 2026. So, if this message has reached you at the exact right time, do not stay silent. Write this in the comments as your act of agreement. I walk in God's favor, wisdom, and true abundance. Write it slowly. Write it with intention. Let it become more than a comment. Let it become a spiritual signature over your next season. And if your soul feels this warning, like a lamp turning on in a dark room like this video, as a sign that you are choosing clarity over chaos, subscribe to this channel if you are ready to protect your peace, your prosperity, and the future God is preparing for you. Share this message with another Gemini or with someone you love who needs to stop moving through life unconsciously, because sometimes one sacred reminder can interrupt a cycle of loss before it begins. Gemini, you are closer than you think to a new season of dignity, stability, increase, and restored power. Do not approach it casually. Approach it prayerfully. Approach it mindfully. Approach it with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that divine favor is real, that peace is wealth, that wisdom is protection, and that a guarded spirit can carry blessings much farther than a hurried soul ever could. Stay with that truth and let it cover the days ahead. And now, Gemini, we return to where this message began, but you are not the same person who first heard it. At the beginning, it sounded like a warning about a color, about 3 dates, about a subtle risk that could touch your money, your influence, and your power in 2026. But now you understand something deeper, something holier, something that reaches far beyond fabric appearance or superstition. This was never truly about a color controlling your destiny. It was about the small signals that reveal whether your soul is moving in harmony with peace or drifting back into confusion. It was about the hidden atmosphere around your choices. It was about whether you would notice heaven whispering before life had to shout. Gemini, that is why this message matters so much. Not because you should walk in fear, but because you are being invited to walk in awareness. Not because your future is fragile, but because your future is valuable. And when something is valuable, it must be guarded with wisdom, not panic. So, as April 22nd, 23rd, and 25th approach, remember this with a steady heart. You are not being asked to obsess over colors. You are being asked to pay attention to the state of spirit you bring into those days. You are being asked to choose calm over haste, prayer over pressure, mindfulness over reaction, faith over inner noise. Because the real loss never begins in the outer world. It begins quietly when the soul starts agreeing with confusion, when the mind stops listening, when the heart begins moving faster than wisdom. But the opposite is also true. Gemini. Real preservation begins in the unseen. Prosperity begins in alignment. Power becomes stable when it is rooted in peace. Financial blessing grows stronger when it is carried by discipline, gratitude, and trust. And that means these coming days can become more than a warning. They can become a turning point. They can become the moment you stop dressing your life in old energy and start stepping into the version of yourself that is ready to be entrusted with more. The version of you that does not spend to soothe emptiness. The version of you that does not perform strength while silently falling apart. The version of you that does not confuse attention with worth or urgency with purpose. No, Gemini. The version of you that is rising now is quieter, clearer, wiser, and far more powerful. This is the Gemini who knows that God's favor does not need chaos to prove itself. This is the Gemini who understands that Buddhist stillness and Christian trust meet in the same sacred place, a heart that no longer fights for what heaven is already preparing in the right time. So let this message stay with you after the video ends. Let it follow you into your closet, into your morning choices, into your thoughts, before you speak into your decisions, before you spend into your spirit, before you react. Let it remind you that small choices shape spiritual momentum, and spiritual momentum shapes the future more than most people will ever realize. If you guard your peace now, you may be protecting your prosperity later. If you choose wisely now, you may be preserving the authority, dignity, and financial grace that 2026 is meant to carry into your life. Gemini, do not leave this message as a listener only. Leave it as someone who has decided, someone who has become conscious, someone who has chosen to walk differently. And if that is you, then write this in the comments with full intention. I choose peace, favor, and blessed abundance for my future. Let that be your closing agreement. Like this video if you are ready to protect what heaven is preparing. Subscribe if you know your next season must not be entered unconsciously. Share this message with someone you love, because one quiet act of wisdom can interrupt years of regret. And remember this, Gemini, sometimes the future is not changed by one dramatic moment, but by one small, holy decision made in time. And sometimes the blessing stays because you finally learned how to honor it before it arrived.